It's wool washing day again. Hooray. And this time I'm inside because it's rainy. It's Washington. It is what it is. So I set up inside. I've got my little machine here. I've got my water hose run out to the outlet for the washing machine in the house. And then I've got my water coming out of the machine running under the garage door and out into the garden. And so I've got on this side, I think it's working out to under half a pound every little load that I do. I'm trying to look at the capacity. I'm doing the Kamaj Fiber Arts thing, using lots of water. Read the book. She's got a great book on scouring fleece. And the big takeaway for me was more water, an appropriate amount of soap, and you can get by with one wash. And so far, so good. I'm really having good results so far. So this one's into soak. I've got about a big scoopy tablespoon of Orvis paste in there. And I soak that for about 15-20 minutes. When that is done, that will get transferred over to here. I will spin it, and while it is spinning, I will run hot water in also, and that rinses out a ton of the soap, which cuts down on the number of rinses you have to do. And I have yet to felt anything. Even like I threw some really, really fine Shetland in there just to see. No felting. We're all good. So as long as you watch your water temperature, it's fine. When it's spinning, it's not actually agitating or anything like that. It's just kind of like sucking it out to the wall. Centrifugal force. Go. So after that is spun and rinsed. I do one more little rinse on this side, and I soak that for just like 5 minutes. And then once that comes out, it gets spun out really, really well. And I put some like more raw fleece in that water that was just used to rinse, and I use that as the first soak. I like to do that because it gets like a lot of the grime and sweat and dirt out of the way before the soap even has to go in, and that way the soap is only really having to contend with the lanolin at that point. So in my mind, that makes sense and it works for me. So yeah, so that's what happens. Once it's all spun out, the other will start soaking. Then I put it in this bad boy. This has been amazing. It's a ginormous, like 3-foot diameter plant dryer. I think we know what kind of plant they're talking about though. I've got almost the whole fleece in like half of it, so I could probably fit 2 fleeces in here. And so far it's holding up. It's not falling apart. It's getting the wool dry in less than 24 hours, which is huge in Washington because if it's rainy, it's humid, and things just take forever to dry. And spring has not been very nice to me this year yet. It's been wet. So hence the reason why I'm inside figuring this out this year. So yeah, I've got just a little bit more wool to do tonight. And then what I've been doing is setting my timer for the 15 or 20 minutes that it needs to soak. And I go inside and I sit down and I comb some wool while I'm waiting for that. So I've been doing this for probably 7 or 8 hours, but it's not the same as when I was doing like an 8 to 12 hour day, 3 days in a row to get a couple of fleeces washed out in the yard, hauling water back and forth. I don't have to haul anything. So this is amazing. This is a huge win this year. I'm really excited. I've got a couple more fleeces. No, I've got 1 full fleece. I've got a chunk of Shetland, and then I've got a chunk of Navajo Churro. So neither of those are full fleeces to wash. The only other raw fleece I have then is I got a couple of Icelandic fleeces to try some like rug felting, but that's definitely an outdoor, lots of water, lots of soap, lots of mess process. So that will wait for the summer. I don't need to pre-wash that. That gets washed in the process of making. So anyways, yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy and successful. This bin down here was overflowing when I started today, and I've got like enough for one more wash left in there, and that's kind of like the dirtiest part, so I'll probably let that soak for a little extra time, and I might even give it an extra wash. It's not gross or anything, it's just got a little more extra compacted tips. But a lot of the fleece has been really pretty darn clean. It's got a little bit of mud on the tips, which I, for one, do not mind. I do not scour my fleeces to get every little inch of everything off of the tips because I don't like sorting locks before I wash and then trying to wash to maintain that structure. I kind of like just getting the whole fleece through, getting it all clean and washed. That way, when I go to process, I do pull locks at that point. Once the fleece is dry, I will sit and I will pick a fleece completely and kind of sort out if there's any different sections that I want to process separately. And if the fleece has a tiny bit of dirt on the end of it, I can see where the tips are very easily. Or even if like the tips are discolored, like the brown fleece, it has like beautiful little soft white tips. And I love that because I can see where the tips are. It's easy to grab and pick. That way you don't have to spend time trying to figure it out. So I can show you what that looks like. Like here's where we started with the fleece I'm washing today, which looks pretty kind of off-white, creamy white. And then when you get it washed, it looks like this, which is kind of more of a, let's see if I can pull some out for you. More of a silvery, it's much more silvery than it looks underneath. And then here's the tips. So yeah, there's a little bit of dirt in those tips. That is going to crack off and fall away for the most part when you get it on the combs or cards or whatever you're going to do. And it does help indicate which part is the tip at that point. So yeah, that's how I like to process fleece. I like to pound it all through in one day, get it all washed, and then I like to pound it on the hackle and the combs. That's what I've been doing with the other fleece all day. I'm going to try and just get the whole thing done and start spinning on that one. And I've decided that's my favorite way to get through a fleece. So I like to buy fleeces that kind of suit my processing preferences. So that means I'm not buying a ton of super, super fine fleece. I'm not buying a ton of like really, really long locks that you have to pull and bundle and wash in baggies. I'm going to buy medium fleeces that are pretty happy, that are kind of hard to ruin type things. This baby Romney, I call it baby Romney. He was probably like a year old or something, right? But it was a Romney lamb, 7 pounds. It was a big lamb, okay? But the Romney lamb is great because it's got some length. It's a good 3 to 4 inches long, which is great for combing. Great for the way I like to spin. It's going to make a beautiful yarn, but it's soft enough. It's got some spring to it. That beautiful crimp helps give it some bounce when it's spun. So that's the kind of stuff I love to spin. So Corriedale I've really enjoyed. Yeah, as far as processing by hand. So I haven't processed like a merino fleece or anything super fine, except I lied. No, I have a deboulet that I have kind of processed little by little over the years, and I just need to kind of buckle down and get that all combed so I can spin with that. Excuse me. I'm fighting off the end of a cold or allergies or something that's going on. But yeah, I've got a lot of clean fleece now is what I have on my hands. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of combing and a lot of spinning. I had a minor setback with my combing apparatus. I literally just got the hackle in the mail, and that day one of my Majacraft combs, the handle popped right off. So that's going to be covered under warranty. I'm talking with the dealer about getting that fixed and dealt with, and I was kind of frustrated, and I was like, no, I don't want to pull out the really sharp Valkyrie combs, because the great thing about the Majacraft combs is they're not sharp. Like you would have to work hard to hurt yourself with those things. So like the Valkyrie combs, man, you can stab yourself in a hot second, and I've bled from those things already. So I really didn't want to use those. So what I've been doing is I've been using the hackle and just not using the full length, just stacking one edge of it with wool, combing from that section, and then filling the rest of the hackle. That way I can pull it off and still get a nice long piece for spinning, and it's going a lot faster too than if I was just working on combs from the hand. So, and in the end, I was not having great luck with the Majacraft combs staying clamped to the table. Their clamping system leaves a little something to be desired, in my opinion. The clamp walks kind of forward as you're pulling against the comb a little bit, so it's like stopping and retightening it, and or having to like grab and hold the comb in place when you're pulling against it. And so anyways, so maybe it's good that the head popped off of one of them, and it helped me kind of figure out that the hackle is really just kind of the way to go for me. I can just kind of sit and like bang out some fleece and get some processing done, because sometimes that does feel like a long, tedious process. Not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know what about this isn't long and tedious, but you know, finding a way to get through the processes that aren't the most fun in a way that is, you know, improving your washing methods and figuring out what style of processing really works for you. That's really cool. I'm excited about it this year. I've got some things in place that will help me make some major progress on some projects. So anyways, I'm rambling. I think my fleece has been soaking long enough now, so I need to switch that over. So I will talk to you later.